Do you suffer from performance anxiety or communication apprehension? Maybe you have to make a presentation at work or in class or stand up in front of a group of people and talk. Maybe you've turned in some written work to a teacher or a boss and you're really nervous about how you're going to be evaluated. These kinds of fears are all natural and they are manageable. So I'm here today to tell you the truth about fear. Let's explore. So, what is the truth about fear? The truth I'm going to share with you today is that being afraid is not a character flaw, and fear is not something we should try to totally eradicate from our lives. Okay? So, starting with being afraid is not a character flaw. As human animals, we are hardwired for fear. Whenever we are the focus of attention, we can tend to feel threatened. There's a center in our brain called the amygdala, which is the place where the fight or flight syndrome lives. And whenever we're in an uncomfortable or new situation, the amygdala triggers hormones that tell us that we might be under threat and we might need to get out of that situation. Sometimes this manifests as an adrenaline surge, as butterflies in the stomach, as sweaty palms, but we've all been there and we all recognize it. This fear response is a biological thing. It's not a character flaw. It doesn't mean that you're a weak person. It's that when we are the center of attention, we can get nervous, especially because human beings are social animals. We need the approval and support of our tribe in order to thrive. And so when we're the center of attention, when all these eyes are looking at us, or we know we're about to be criticized in some way, we can tend to feel like we're a target and that we're going to have some negativity coming at us. So it's a very natural human biological thing. Our brains are wired up that way. So fear is not a character flaw. The second thing is that we shouldn't aim to eradicate fear or eliminate fear completely from our lives. Have you ever known anyone who's totally fearless? Probably not, but if you did, I imagine they would be a very reckless person who was unable to extend good care toward themselves or to others. If we were totally fearless, we would hurt others, we would break the law, we would do all kinds of negative things. So fear has a function of keeping us safe. Whenever you feel fear, your brain is saying this is a potentially dangerous situation and I'm trying to warn you of the dangers in order to keep you safe. So being fearless is not something we should aim for. Raising fearless children is not something we should aim for. What we should think about is how to better understand fear and its function and how to manage it. We recognize it, but do we know how to manage it? When we have those butterflies in the tummy or those sweaty palms, what do we do then? What do we tell ourselves? How do we reframe our mental state in order to be as successful as we can be? If we stop thinking of fear as the enemy and start thinking of it as a companion who's trying to protect us but is being a little overzealous sometimes in protecting us, a companion that is very nervous, a companion who is sending out those danger signals when maybe they aren't really necessary, then we can learn to be more comfortable with our fear. I won't say befriend our fear, that might be ideal, but at least to become more comfortable. So one way of doing this is to recognize that fear is a companion. Its purpose is to keep you safe. It raises its voice sometimes when it really isn't necessary. And when that happens, we can tell it, okay, I see you, I hear you, I recognize you, fear. I know you're just trying to protect me, but I don't need you in this particular situation. I'm not under threat right now. I'm giving a talk to 3 of my coworkers who want me to succeed, and they're a friendly audience and they're not going to hurt me. And fear, I know you're trying to protect me from getting hurt, but in this situation, it would be best if you would take a seat. We can't make it go away. It's part of our bodies. It's part of the way our brains work. It's always going to be there. The question is, can we learn to include it in our thinking and to acknowledge it? And one way to do this is to personify it. Give it a name if you want. Give it a funny name. Give it a wacky name and say, hey, I hear you. I see you. And I know what you're trying to do, and I appreciate you're trying to protect me. But in this particular instance, I don't need protection, or I don't need this degree of protection that you're trying to give me. So thank you for checking in on me. Thank you for being concerned about me. But please take a seat and just observe from now on. So the next time you have to talk in front of others or even in front of one person that you're nervous about, try using this technique. Really recognize that you're feeling afraid and recognize what that fear is trying to tell you, and then talk back to it, not in an angry way, not in a way that you think you're going to tell it to go away, because it won't, but in a way that acknowledges it but tells it to pipe down and let you take the wheel. Take care, everybody. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.